Good evening and welcome to our midweek pause, our midweek worship with Bismarck United Church of Christ. It is such a blessing to gather with you. This evening we're going to hear an update on hunger in the Bismarck-Mandan area. And leading up to that, first we're going to hear a scripture from Deuteronomy. So this reading is from Deuteronomy chapter 15, verses 7 through 11. If there is anyone among you who is in need in any of the towns in the land that Yahweh your God is giving you, you must not be harsh or stingy toward your sisters and brothers who are in need. You must be generous and ready to lend to those who need help of any kind. Have care that you do not harbor the base thought. The 7th year, the year of forgiveness of debts approaches, and so show ill will toward your needy sisters or brothers and give them nothing. They might appeal to Yahweh against you, and you would be found guilty. Be generous to them, not with a grudging heart. And in return, Yahweh will bless you in all things that you undertake and in all your endeavors. There will always be those among us in the world who are in need. So I require of you that you always be generous with the poor and needy in your land. It is true that there will always be those around us who are in need. It is part of humanity. It is part of our society that there are always opportunities around us to serve one another, to be in community with one another. Here at Bismarck United Church of Christ, we've been collecting food and needed items like laundry detergent and deodorant and personal care items that local families need throughout this time and throughout all times. This pandemic has made more families move into places of need, but the truth is there have always been people in our community who need assistance and need help. Jack's Food Pantry here began feeding families who were falling through the gaps. Now we're partnering with Adopt-A-Block, and through Adopt-A-Block, we are getting food and those daily items out to families faster than we ever were before. About 500 families every week are being served by the food and the supplies that you donate. So thank you. And I am happy to welcome to our Wednesday midweek pause an update and reflection from Rachel. Rachel, will you share a bit with us about the issue of hunger here in Bismarck-Mandan?
Hi everyone, my name is Rachel Monge and I'm the Regional Services Manager for the Great Plains Food Bank in Bismarck. Pastor Gretchen asked if I would tune in with you guys today to share a little bit about hunger in the Bismarck-Mandan area and what we're doing well, where we still have room to improve, and how your donations continue to help so many folks in our area. First of all, since the COVID virus started or became more prevalent here in our area, food pantries and folks in need of food assistance has been in overdrive. We've been working with the Farmers to Families program starting as of June 1, where we, the Great Plains Food Bank, have been bringing in 8 to 9 semi-loads of packed produce boxes in across the state and distributing them through our 11 major communities, and then within those distributions out to smaller communities. So we've also been busy fielding SNAP calls. More than ever now, people have lost jobs, have reduced hours, have lost childcare, and have needed to turn to different ways in order to get food. We've been doing at our Farmers to Families distributions where we have 1,400 to 1,500 boxes to move. We've been doing SNAP interviews, and in those interviews we kind of just ask people, like, how has the virus affected your family and how, where are you turning for food? And, we've had a lot of folks that have reported that they've reached out to family or friends because they've been low on resources. And it's been great to see resources having expanded here in the Bismarck area. And then, especially through the Farmers Families distributions, we've really been able to share with people who've never needed food assistance in the past where they can go to find resources. Happy to report that the Adopt a Block program that was expanded from 2 to 6 days per week earlier this spring is still going strong. Very much still always in need of donations, food, funds. They're seeing over 500 families a week at the 6 different locations that they're doing, and plan to keep continuing on. Always kind of thinking, where else can they go? Where else haven't we served? One area that I think of interest is in our area is the community of Lincoln. On a few occasions, we've taken over anywhere from 120 to almost 200 produce boxes from our Bismarck Mandan distributions for farmers to families, and have gotten rid of them very, very quick. So that's one of the areas that I'm kind of focusing on. There's a church over there that is doing some remodeling that's going to put in a food pantry, so we're keeping an eye on that. Sorry to back up, but the Farmers to Families program was created by the USDA in response to the COVID virus to subsidize farmers to get their produce bought up and circulating, which otherwise would have been, bought up by schools or restaurants that weren't either open or at half capacity, and so that food wasn't getting thrown away, and farmers were still getting paid. So that program, as we know it, will continue here through the end of this month, and then we are waiting to hear what expansions will be in the September and October months for that. But in terms of what we're doing well here in Bismarck Mandan, I think people are being really safe at our food pantries and have adopted different ways to distribute the food and communicate with the clients while still being able to give them enough. We've had some food pantries that were maybe only let people come once every 30 days or once every 60 days or once every 90 days that have loosened that up to be once a month. So I also think that there's been a little bit looking into filling some of the gaps, which I still believe are in our evenings or a Saturday time frame for our area. And like I said, even potentially maybe some targeted work out in Lincoln or even maybe New Salem. I think oftentimes the work of our Bismarck Mandan agencies could even expand a little bit into our rural areas, even as sort of a mentorship or whatnot. But definitely, every donation you're making is making a true difference. Right now, we're seeing people who've never needed food assistance seeking food assistance. We've had people just saying that we've heard stories that this is, they haven't eaten in a couple days, or they didn't know where they were going to turn, or they didn't know that there was all these places in the Bismarck Mandan area. So I think right now, one of the things is that if you're interested in volunteering, one of the things that I've noticed is that I think we're missing getting people who are homebound food. Now, I know a lot of the seniors are being covered by the Bismarck and Mandan senior centers and Meals on Wheels and things like that. But what I've seen a lot through our Farmers to Families distributions here in town is that people are asking, my neighbors are elderly. I know my neighbor's in quarantine, or I live down the hall from someone who has 4 kids and I know she works 2 jobs. So I think one of the things that I'd like to see us work on in our area is doing a little bit of a campaign about what resources are here for folks, and how they can access them, and almost more of figuring out how we could do some sort of a phone number that helps. Not that you need a referral to go to a food pantry, but almost that could, be a part of some of the work that maybe the Homeless Coalition is doing when people are looking for places to live or to stay for the night. Likely they need food as well. So that's kind of some of the next steps, is bringing folks together in the Bismarck, Mandan area to visit and to talk. And I know Pastor Gretchen and I have talked about that a lot, and it's still on my to-do list to do that. But for the most part, I think we're doing a really, really good job here. But hunger is not going to end. What will happen is someday we'll have created enough access to food that folks will know where to go for their next meal, and they won't need to wait a day or 24 hours. That they can find that right away. So if you're interested ever in volunteering or hearing more from me or getting to know more about the lay of the land in the Bismarck Mandan food pantry world, please give me a call at 701-390-2513. Just a little plug, we have distributions in Mandan at the Starion Sports Complex from 10 to 1 on Wednesday, and then from 4 to 6 on the west side of the Kirkwood Mall. Would love to see you volunteer. Come check it out. Come pick up some boxes for delivery. Other than that, stay safe, everyone. Hope to visit with you all in person someday soon.
Thank you so much to Rachel for joining us this night, and thank you to each of you for opening your hearts and minds, for hearing this update, for finding ways to reach out to one another, to be a part of this fast that we choose, this fast where we serve one another, this fast where we live into doing justice and love with one another, this fast where we care for each other above everything else. We follow God above all else. Thank you for being part of this. And may you keep looking outside of yourself. May you keep finding God in your midst, and may you keep stumbling upon those opportunities to serve. As you go about the rest of your week, may you be blessed, and may you be a blessing. Spirit